Hello. We're here. It's now. It's the gothiest ghost of them all, Casper in the Flesh, and it's List Week. It's the final installment of List Week. And I know I'm not really where I want to be yet. Hopefully, I will be in the near future. But to those who have been supporting me, I deeply thank you for that. And other people, thank you as well. Guys, would like to give thanks. Sean, thank you. Still single, by the way. Yep, I'm sure you are. Moontante would like to thank you as well. Thank you so much for your contribution for keeping a roof over our head. Check out Hippy Dippy Man. Alright, Moontante. And also, Danny, would you like to say a few words? The concept of what I'm looking for in terms of expressing gratitude is just too much in depth to... Alright, that's enough. Anyway, we all want to thank you. We all want to say, without you viewing, this wouldn't be possible. Now, let's get into the top 50 albums of the year. My favorite albums of the year, which was kind of difficult to do because I started off not knowing how many albums I would enjoy this year, and it was over 50, so I had to whittle it down. And now we are getting the aftermath of the whittle. Let's get into it. At number 50, it's Navy Blue with Ways of Knowing. A lot of heartfelt, poetic tracks on this one. At number 49, it's Jessie Ware with That Feels Good, giving a grand, effervescent experience once again. If you love disco, check this out. At number 48, it's George Clanton with Oh Rap Aya, as George gives us introspective lyrics over these large kaleidoscopic beats, a lot of electronic production, which just gives you a burst of nostalgia all the way through. And it feels like I'm floating every time I hear it. At number 47, Key Glock with Glaucoma 2, as he goes classic Memphis rap on this one, giving us that great Memphis rap style, doing a departure from the style he was doing previously, which I thought was pretty run-of-the-mill, but now he's killing it on this one. At 46, Ana Frango Electrico with Mi Cama de Gato Que Susa. And people are probably shocked that it's ranked so low because I gave it such a positive review. But I still do love this, and I do also believe that this is the best Brazilian act right now. At 45, we have Mike with Burning Desire. I haven't been a huge fan of this guy throughout his whole entire career, but on this one, I could say he truly and honestly upgraded. With a lot of focus on here, bringing elements of vaporwave, with soul samples, and getting more focus, more personal on this album. And delivering a dope thematic tie-in to the title. Keep it up, Mike. At number 44, it is the legendary death metal band, one of my favorites of all time. Hasn't really ever disappointed, maybe some point in their career, but it's Autopsy with Ashes, Organs, Bloods, and Crips, as they come back to kick ass once again in grotesque, horror, bloody metal fashion. At number 43, an album which you would be surprised that is on this list because I didn't review it formally on the channel, but I reviewed it behind the scenes. But it is a truly fantastic, creative, forward-thinking Latin pop album with elements of trip hop, Latin electronic. It's Mon Laferte with Auto Poetica. At number 42, we have Tomb Mold with The Endearing Spirit, which is a colorful but yet captivating and still visceral. I don't know how they did it on this one, but they did it, and it is still savagely brutal. At number 41, it's singer-songwriter Joanna Sternberg with I've Got Me. At number 40, we have Colin Stetson with this crazy title, When We Were That What Wept for the Sea. And this thing for me was like watching a movie, and it was directed by the majesty of Colin's saxophone playing and instrumentation. It's pretty much a movie of the mind, honestly, but one I would love to return to again and again. At number 39, it is Tinashe with Baby Angel. as she gives us a short romantic dilemma, only 7 tracks. But I love the spacey production, I love the thematic focus, and I could actually name 7 Tinashe songs. At number 38, it is Wiki and Tony Seltzer with 14K Figaro. And definitely a highlight for me, and I think it's taking New York rap in a new direction. At number 37, it is Snow Strippers with April Mixtape 3, and I still don't know what a Snow Stripper is, but I know I love the hazy, dark, bassy, electro clash production on here. And if you love Crystal Castle's first album, check this out! At number 36, it is a immensely poetic, beautiful, powerful, chanting, soulful, and jazzy, and honestly the best thematically crafted conscious rap album of the year. It is McKinley Dixon with Beloved Paradise Jazz. At number 35, it is Reverend Christian Michael Hayter, formerly known as Lingua Ignota, proving she could still provide a powerful, harrowing album while doing it under not only another name, but another style of music, as she gives a unbelievable performance from the perspective of an evangelical Appalachian preacher, and really does a lot of exposing here without doing that. And the lengths they went to go to give it the sound they did is just incredible, with incredible results. So yeah, Christian, you've done it again. At number 34, it is Pink Pantheress with Heaven Knows. UK artist Pink Pantheress takes me on a ride through another world, wrapped in a dream with some nightmarish moments, over amazing elements of liquid drum and bass, dance pop, breakbeats with angelic vocals and emo style lyrics. Definitely an album that has me excited for her next one and the shape of dance pop to come. This is something new, something different for the time being. I mean, it's not different in general, but it's a new step to dance pop, and I am just waiting for what the next step will be. At number 33, it is easily the mainstream country album of the year. It is Zach Bryan with Self-Titled, with pained vocals, with passionate and confessional lyrics. Check it out. At number 32, it is Mitski with This Land is Inhospitable and So Are We, which is definitely country album of the year for me. I mean, it's not a mainstream country album, there are mixes of other things, but it's a country album, come on. As she gives dreamy, ethereal magic to Americana and country, with some of the most, or the most beautiful, heartfelt ballads in this context I've heard all year. At 31, it is Parannoul with After the Magic. Another album with dreamy, serene melodies, but very crushing, sonically bright, and very dense, but also mesmerizing as well. Again, Parannoul, After the Magic. At number 30, it is the Hers Collective with We're Still Here, as we get a kick-ass collection of fierce, politically charged, visceral tracks from artists of the queer community, and I feel they bring great variations of sasscore, grindcore, and power violence in a very important dynamic package that I feel anyone who rocks with grindcore or power violence or the visceral style of music should listen to, period. At 29, it's Squid with Oh Monolith. The debut, I didn't hate it. It did have great singles, but when I heard the singles to this one, and when I finally heard the album, I was like, yes, they've done it on this one. They have definitely outdone themselves here and gave me the album that I was looking for last album and just went above and beyond. It was definitely the thrilling experience I was waiting for. At 28, it is Paramore with This Is Why. I've never been a huge fan of this band in the past, but man, the great songwriting, catchy dance punk and post-punk tracks, Hayley's passionate vocals, and I can honestly say I'm a Paramore fan now. And this is why. At 27 is Olivia Rodrigo with Guts, whose debut I enjoyed. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. But here she definitely outdid herself here with the super creative, funny, quirky, passionately moving songwriting here, with stunning vocals, great ballads, great bops. about love, heartbreak. It's fantastic. Great pop album. If you haven't checked it out, please do. At number 26, I call this thing a dance club nightmare that I honestly would love to return to again and again. But man, the freakish, haunting vocals on here, the unhinged, terrifying but yet dancey production, it's one hell of an experience that I think you should experience again at least once. At number 25, we have Eggpunk Album of the Year, Snooper with Super Snooper. It's fun, it's silly, but also addresses important matters in a very comical way, and something you should check out. At number 24, it is Feeble Little Horse with Girl with Fish. It's a tiny set of tracks, but they're very sweet tracks, but also very heavy as well. Very fuzzy, very homespun, with elements of shoegaze, noise pop, indie rock. If you fancy yourself an indie rock fan, and you haven't heard this, you're probably missing out. At number 23, it is Lonnie Holly with Oh Me, Oh My. It is a captivating, ambient, futuristic soul album with a lot of elements of avant-garde and very obscure style vocals that may not be for everyone, but for me, I feel the passion, I feel the pain, I feel the seasoned experience of this man's life as he lays it on the line, giving traumatic experience that he's faced, and reflection and living life now, with great various features such as Michael Stipe from REM, Sharon Van Etten, More Mother. At number 22, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are back with Petrogonic Apocalypse, and it is just kicking ass on all cylinders once again in metal fashion. Bring that powerful helping of thrash metal in a conceptual sci-fi direction against climate change, against capitalism, bringing a lot of creativity, keeping it raw, keeping it punishing, and just making a great album. At number 21, it is King Cruel with Space Heavy. And they're back with their best album yet, with dark, psychedelic, spacey production and personal, touching lyrics. At number 20, it is 100 gecs with 10,000 gecs. An album that grew on me through time. When I first reviewed it, I did love this, but now I love this even more, honestly. It's an album that reflects on and takes from the corniest cliches of 2000s pop punk or metal, and turns it into this fun, catchy obscurity that I just can't get away from. And I don't want to get away from it. Taking hyperpop to new heights with humor, energy, personality, and just creative production. And catchy hooks. The hyperpop album of the year. At number 19, I know people are gonna cringe at me. They are gonna foam at the mouth when they see what is at number 19. It's Sexy Red, Hood's Hottest Princess. I think people just need to learn how to have fun and be less misogynistic. What do you think? At number 18, it is Caroline Polachek with Desire, I Want to Turn Into You. It's my art pop album of the year. I think Caroline is pulling everything but the kitchen sink here, bringing us fiery, eccentric vocals, with ethereal rhythmic blends brought to UK garage and alternative pop, and it's something you don't want to miss out on. At number 17, it is the touching and beautiful Kara Jackson, Why Does the Earth Give Us People to Love? As she delivers the most poetically introspective and tragic moments on here, but also there are uplifting parts as well, but it's very raw and probably the most creative poetry I have heard all year. Kara Jackson, hell yeah. At number 16, it is Group Therapy with I Was Mature for My Age but Still a Child. And this is a group that comes, and this is a trio that comes with super groovy, fun, creative versatility, and honestly the best rap group. I mean, to be honest with you, it's kind of a disservice to call them a rap group based on how versatile they are. Like, they could really be anything they want to be, honestly. It's the most fun, it's the most personal, creative blend of rap, pop, R&B I've probably heard all year. If you're into old school Pharrell, Timbaland, Kanye, or from Brockhampton for that matter, Check this out. At number 15, it's Amaarae with Fountain Baby, bringing a great mix of Afrobeat, pop, R&B, soul. Her angelic vocals just lift me up to new heights. She just brings so much to the table, and it's my Afrobeat album of the year, with some catchy, great hooks too. A lot of atmosphere, a lot of energy, a lot of color. Listen to it. At number 14, it is Geese with 3D Country. A fantastic album using elements of psychedelic rock, cowpunk, pretty much the old school type of bands like The Doors, or old school hard rock and blues like Led Zeppelin. Maybe dabbling in art punk, such as Television, or getting psychedelic again with Hendrix, which you definitely hear like a heavy Hendrix impression, but man, the vocalist on here is absolutely insane with his variations, his performances. It's an insane, captivating vocal variety, and the hard, heavy, but also beautiful at times instrumentation complements it so well. If you fancy yourself an old school rock fan, well, you should fancy yourself a fan of Geese. At number 13, it is Underscores with Wall Socket. It's an album I loved at first and still love now. With out there production, it's a very internet album, but it's a great internet album, and even takes things from the internet and puts them in scenario to conceptually world build on this album. Bringing some pretty wild stories here of a girl who's obsessed with another girl on here, a girl who is manipulated by this scumbag on the internet, and also corruption with banks. It's just wild on all cylinders. At number 12, it's Genesis Owusu with Struggler. And I loved his first album, but this album right here is easily his best, easily his most thematically focused, his most powerful, his most dark, his most enthralling, as he talks about struggle, capitalism, personifying God as the struggle in the capitalistic society that is bringing him down. It is a crazy, creative, thought-out story with elements of post-punk, synth-punk. It's right up my alley, and I hope it's up yours as well. At number 11, it is Arm & Hammer with We Buy Diabetic Test Strips. As the duo comes through on the most grimy, dark production, but it's still very cerebral, very ethereal. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. And probably the most out there lyrics I'm still trying to wrap my head around. At number 10, we're at number 10! It is Lemon Twigs with Everything Harmony. And this is a band I didn't care for as much when I first heard them. I did enjoy some songs from them. And with this genre in general, I'm pretty much hit or miss on this. But this is a hit. And I found myself absolutely loving it, going back to it again and again and again, with clever, awe-inspiring melodies that'll just leave you in a world of entrancement, I suppose, bring you to just another thought process, another world, but yet their lyrics can be dark, but it definitely has a light sonic element to it. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. Plus, the melodies and instrumentation are just, they can be moving, they can be heartwarming. And yeah, it's the soft rock album of the year, in my opinion. At number 9, it is Anohni and the Johnsons with My Back Was a Bridge for You to Cross, and brings us very compelling lyrics about being queer in society and the struggles facing from it. And it's beautiful, it's moving, it's mesmerizing, and it's truly an album you don't want to miss out on. At number 8, it's Sampha with Lahi. And this is an album, I said in the singles list, that I've been waiting for years and years and years, and it finally came, and the experience was definitely worth it. Like, I did love his last album, which is why I was excited for this one, but I love this one way more. He's definitely outdone himself with this one, as he dives into compelling introspection of life, family. Although he does reflect on the past, it is all about just progressing, just moving forward. as he brings great blends of UK bass, West African music, neo soul. It's an amazing and religious experience at points, spiritual at points. It makes me want to float. And truly and honestly, the best album. You could call it R&B, you could call it neo soul, but it is the best in those genres of the year, in my opinion. At number 7, it is Sprain Lamb as Effigy. And it comes from a band which unfortunately called it quits this year. And honestly, as much as I love this album, I think they were just getting started. But man, the intensity on this album is on 11. The lyrics are maniacally self-loathing. The vocals are the most disturbing, most terrifying I've heard all year. It's beautiful at points, but also traumatic at points, in a good way, I suppose. I guess if you like being in that mind state, but also being exposed to something powerful and something you'll never forget, check this album out, but do it on your own risk. I guess what I'm trying to say is, through the chaos, and no matter your experience, it's an album you'll never forget. At number 6, it is Liturgy with 93696. It's an album from a band people have hated in the past, but I've always loved. And it feels like this is truly their best. Ravina Hendrix and the band have come through with honestly their best album yet. As much as I love their previous stuff, they have just gone above and beyond here, delivering the most hell-raising instrumentation, the most wretched, most excruciating vocals in a good way, and religious tie-ins, like thematic focused religious tie-ins. It's epic, it's ferocious, it's creative, it's forward thinking. It is the best metal album of the year. I said it. It's visceral, it's artistic, it's captivating, it's multifaceted. I say check this out because I love it. At number 5, oh man, number 5. Rapper Billy Woods and producer Kenny Siegel team up again to make Maps as Billy Woods brings his abstract magic to this album, giving us stories of family, economic struggle, life, conflicts with being on tour, but does it in the most creative, thoughtful way. Like, I don't think there's any other rapper who's as unique or as thought-provoking as Billy. I just don't. And I feel this is abstract album of the year. Also, I feel the experimental, moody production that Kenny brings here complements him perfectly. At number 4, it is Lana Del Rey with Did You Know There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? And it's an album from an artist who I have been no stranger to, and I really didn't care for at first at the beginning of her career. I still don't. But when I heard NFR, I became a fan. But when I heard this, I am definitely a fan now, showing how she's been no stranger to controversy and tackling that in a very mature, artistic way, and showing very deep introspections of feelings about family, deep feelings about building, starting a family, her flaws, her self-realization, an acknowledgement of all that and taking it on head on. It's well written, it's well performed, it's well produced, and it's at my number 4 spot. Yeah, hell yeah to Lana. At number 3, it is JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown with Scaring the Hose, where sonically it fits the title, with how wacky, wild, and out of control the production is, how creative it is, with unhinged production flips of gospel, 2000s R&B, foreign music, and unapologetically taking shots at the media, racists, just doing it all in a very creative and very clever way, very aggressive way. JPEG's aggression, Danny's quirkiness just go together hand in hand. And it may not be for everyone. I mean, it is called Scaring the Hose. But I suggest you check this album out. Let me know what you think. And if you don't like it, at least you tried. You tried not to be scared. But for me, this is the hip hop album of the year. At number 2, it is Sufjan Stevens with Javelin. It is an album built off tragedy, as Sufjan has this year been diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is an autoimmune disease, and tragically lost his partner after years of being together. But Sufjan truly does build triumph from the tragedy on this album. Like, the somber moments are immense, but it takes you to wondrous transitions on here. This album emotionally crushed me, and then brought me back together, brought me to another world, and then crushed me again, and the pattern basically continued. Not in a formulaic way, but in a experience way, with excellent songwriting, gorgeous instrumentation, sweet, passionate vocals we know Sufjan to bring, and just a great, beautiful, moving album. At number 1, my number 1 album of the year, it is Jeff Rosenstock, Hell Mode. An artist who I've always loved the solo work of, but never quite made my top 10 or album of the year for that matter. And I don't love this just for it being a punk album. No, that'd be silly. I don't love this just because of the energy. No. I don't love this just because of the variations of punk on here and other music. No. I love this because it speaks to me as someone who has gone through trauma, someone who has gone through heartbreak, someone who has cut toxic people out of his life. I relate to this, but also it has the qualities I looked for. So when it all comes together, it is a healing process. And this album's very healing to me, very relatable to me. And hopefully relatable to anyone who has gone through trauma, cut out the toxicity, and hopefully healing to anyone who has gone through that. And that's it. That's my list. That is my year-end list. That's my album of the year. These are my albums of the year. If you've checked these albums out, what did you think? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Why? What are your albums of the year? Let me know. Caspa, Gothic Ghost, best albums 2023. Till we meet again.